business, generally when competition's tough, times are tough, we tend to be very expansive in our thinking. We think we need to market to more consumers, more market sectors. Let's expand our products and so sell more products to more people, more geographic locations. We tend to go more. But counterintuitive again, but the complete opposite is true. The more narrow our focus, then the more cut through we get, the more resonance we get with our target audience. Another quote from Michael Porter, if you try to be all things to all people, you will be nothing to nobody. And I love this one. He talks about the essence of strategy is actually choosing what not to do. Again, we tend to create long lists of things that we need to do. Let's keep adding this. But the more effective strategy that businesses use is to narrow down that focus and say, let's just do those 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 things well. So it's a really effective strategy. Another example that you can probably all relate to is the old newsagent. So the newsagent, I know firsthand through a friend's parents, is a tough gig. Long hours, very small margins. And one of the things that they've fallen into the trap, pretty much every one of them, is when times are tough, competition is tough, expansive in thinking, offering all things to all people. Some of the things they sell through newsagents are extreme. So I know it was tough to begin with, and then when big box category killer came in, Officeworks, effectively it's the all things to all people on steroids. So you would be forgiven for thinking it would be insane to want to enter into the newsagent category knowing that it's what's called a red ocean. It's an absolute bloodbath of competition. But if you had a competitive advantage, you would go in and actually capitalise on that market sector. And that's exactly what two very clever retailers did. So Peter Porswang and Jay Porswang in 2003 had the idea of focusing on one very specific target audience, being teenage girls. They expanded to a secondary audience of teenage boys and built an incredibly successful business, again, focusing on that one very specific audience. And what's really interesting is that consumers travelled past dozens of news agencies, past dozens of Officeworks stores to willingly pay a significant premium for products based on this retail proposition. So within a very short space of time, within 6 years, they grew to over 95 locations when other news agencies are closing down. And they sold for $30 million plus undisclosed bonuses to the Just Group. And now I understand that it's one of their most profitable and successful businesses, many years later. So a really clever local example of how having a very narrow focus can actually drive cut through and growth in really competitive categories.